using iOS 8. So when you open up iMovie on the iPad, it really is, I have to say, a fascinating program. When I first started using iMovie, or really before then, I had this fear thinking, you know what, it's not going to, how could it possibly be easy to edit on an iPad? See, I always edit on a computer. I use Final Cut Pro and iMovie, and it's very seamless. And I was surprised at how simple it really is to do this from an iPad. There's a couple of things I have to mention right now. So as of today's date, the operating system for the Mac, Yosemite, has yet to come out. Okay, we're still on Mavericks, so we're at this kind of weird intersection where iOS 8 is out, but the operating system that really supports it on the computer side is not out yet. The reason why I wanted to point this out is that a lot of you, when you're getting your footage, you may be bringing it in from your computer. And one of the ways that you're going to be able to do this is using iCloud Drive, which is basically very similar to Dropbox or Google Drive. It's just a way that you can store your footage on the cloud. So I don't have a way to demonstrate that portion. So what I have done before this class is I went out just in our little backyard and front yard here and just shot some very, very basic footage using the built-in camera app on the iPad. And that's what I would recommend for any of you out there. If you're going to shoot footage on your iPhone or your iPad, you can technically do it from within iMovie, but it's so much easier to just take your time with it and do it from the camera app because it'll import everything. So when you open up iMovie, this is the kind of screen that you're going to see, and I want to point out a couple of little things here. So we have a little plus button at the top right, and so that's what you're going to tap to create one of two different projects. And the first option, and this is actually the one we're going to be doing today, is a movie, and option 2 is a movie trailer. Now, for any of you out there who happen to be parents, one of the things I love to interject into these classes is to say that I'm not really a big fan of kids playing video games. I think it kind of makes them forget about reality. But what I do love is when you can put something in the hands of a child that inspires creativity. I myself don't really work with children a lot, but when I do get the opportunity to do so, it's really fun for me to get to watch their eyes light up. And this is an example of something that they can have a lot of fun with. So while we're not going over how to build a movie trailer today, I want to give you a little preview of it. So let's go into movie trailer really quickly. And so with this, basically all of these are templates. It's going to tell you exactly what kind of shots to pick out, and it's going to create a epic Hollywood-style movie. It's really incredible stuff. So you can see here we have all these different categories from teen, swashbuckler. What the heck is that? I'm guessing that's like a spin-off of Pirates of the Caribbean. We have superheroes, scary, romance, retro. So just to kind of give you an example of what these look like, Apple has created trailers. So they've created basically what you can do with your footage, but kind of a dummy example here. Let's do, you know what, since we're doing this to inspire creativity with kids, let's do the teen one. I'm just going to play a few seconds of this just so you have an idea. This is how it would come out. Might be a little lag in the video. It's not really coming out that well. I think it has to do with the fact that right now we're broadcasting live, if I haven't mentioned that already. So we have a lot of bandwidth being pushed out, so I don't think it's going to... Let me try one that I did the other day. This one worked really well. There we go. So that kind of gives you an idea of really what is possible with this technology. And I know you probably couldn't hear the audio that well because the people who are here live right now just heard that coming from my speakers back into my microphone, but it still gives you kind of a little bit of an idea of what to expect. And just to show you how these trailers work, again, I'm not really going to go into it. I'll just hit create. So all of the text that you saw, the animated text, you just type it in here. It just kind of asks you a bunch of different questions. And then if you look here, we have two tabs. We have the outline and the storyboard. So when you tap on storyboard, it will tell you exactly what kind of shots to insert. So for example, it wants a 1.7-second clip of a landscape. And then you just replace all of these names with your family members or friends, and it will match the titles with the people. It's really fun. It's really easy. At some point, we're going to try to do one. It's a little bit difficult because I'd have to do a lot of prep work for that class, but we'll try to do that one of these days. But for now, we're going to go to the plus symbol and we're going to hit movie. Now, just like we could do with trailers, we do have different templates that we can use. These basically just utilize these different titles and transitions, and you can frankly turn them on or off. So in that case, it almost doesn't even really matter which one you use if you don't want to use a template. One of the things I found very strange, in iMovie, in the program, the actual program for the Mac, they have an option for no template, where you just have a blank canvas and it's all the normal stuff. With this, there is no option for that. They make you use a template. You just turn the features off, that's all. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this travel one, I suppose, and that way I'll be able to show you eventually kind of how it looks. You know what, I don't want to do travel because that would kind of go against the subject matter. Let's do bright. And so when you've picked the template that you want to use, or in this case, not use, hit create at the top right corner. Great. So now for those of you who are used to iMovie, this should look a little bit similar to the version for the Mac. So what I want to do is I'm going to start off with going over how to import things like your footage, video, photos, and music. Then we're going to go over a few other features like editing and a couple of different effects tricks, and then go over a few extra little features, including the different ways that you can export your project when you're done. So here, let me kind of go over how this works. So over here on the top right-hand quadrant, this is where you're going to pull your video, photo, and audio content. As you will see here, we do have iCloud Drive listed here. I just can't use it. I even tried earlier going to iCloud.com and uploading, and it would not upload. So it's still kind of in its beta phase right now. It's not really out. The rumor that I have heard, for those of you who are here live, is that October 21st is going to be the day that the next operating system for the Mac comes out. If you have questions, we can go over that after the class. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here where it says all. Okay, and so this is the different footage. We have a little pear tree in our backyard, produced an amazing crop this year. And so I just went out and I shot a whole bunch of little quick video clips that I thought we could use. So if you go through here, you'll see all my little footage. And when you find a shot, let's just kind of start with this shot here. You just tap on the clip, and you'll notice that we have these yellow bars on the sides. And so this represents where your clip starts and where your clip ends. Now, when you import a clip into this bottom part here, this is called your timeline. That's where the actual edit is going to take place. And by the way, this up here at the top left, that's going to be your preview window. So when you're watching your footage back, that's where you're going to see it. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. Some people prefer to import the entire clip and then trim it from there. Others prefer to trim it ahead of time. So this shot here, you can see it might be a little tough, but this shot, it tells me here at the bottom left corner of the shot is 18 seconds long. A little bit long for what I need. So if I want to just see what it looks like, there is a little play button that you'll notice right here that appears. Okay, so you can see the shot there. But again, I don't really need that much. So if I want to trim it, you can either trim it from the beginning or the ending. So if I want to trim off some of the ending, I can take that yellow bar and I can drag it back with my finger. So now that I've trimmed my shot, there's a few different things that I can do here. The first is this little arrow kind of pointing down. That's going to bring that shot into my timeline. And we'll go over where it's going to bring it in a moment once we add a few different shots. So I'm going to tap that right now. And you'll see there it is here in my timeline. So I have that shot. Okay. The other things that you can do, though, you'll see we have these 3 little dots here. We're not going to really cover them because I don't see it as being a feature that many people are going to care about. These are options on the right-hand side for like picture-in-picture. So for example, this one here on the right-hand side, this will cut off half the screen. So you'll have one clip playing on the left-hand side of the screen, one clip playing on the right-hand side. This one here really more resembles a picture-in-picture. And this one here I've never even really used. Again, not a feature many people are going to care about. Okay, we also have a little audio button here. That will just extract all of the audio out of your clip so you can use it separately. This can be really handy if you have an interview subject and you want to be able to go back and forth between them talking and what we refer to as B-roll footage, so other footage. Maybe in this case it would be someone talking about pears. You know, I could have their voice in the background by extracting their audio and then show different footage of pears while we're going through the actual clip. I'm going to I'm going to delete that real quick, which we will cover in a bit. Another feature I want to point out is that you'll notice that now I have inserted this shot. There's this little orange bar that represents the footage that I have used. So what's really handy with that is as you're creating a project, you're using more and more footage and you're thinking, have I already used that shot? Well, if there's an orange bar under it, then yes, you have. If not, then you still have yet to use the shot. So we've got that. Let's go and let's add in another shot here. Now you'll notice that in the timeline we have this white bar. Okay, that's called the playhead. And so what you can do is that wherever this white playhead is, it's going to show you a preview of the footage right there. And all you do is use your finger to swipe left and right, and you'll see how that shot looks. This is clearly all handheld, so it's going to be a little bit shaky. So if I want my next shot to come after this, okay, I want to make sure that my playhead is down here at the very end of the shot. Otherwise, it's going to put the clip at the beginning. So let's find another shot here. We'll just go to a quick shot of this kind of Cape Cod style light that we have. We'll throw that in there. And I'm just going to start to throw in a little bit more footage. We have some of the pears. We had something like 240 pounds of pears so far that our tree produced. So let's put that in. Okay, so I'm just putting in as much as I can here just to give us some content to work with. You'll see here, it's really, really easy to start to put together your project. And now I'll do the reverse. Okay. So as I scrub through the project, you'll see here that we have all of our different shots. You'll also notice that we have this little thing, looks like a little bow tie in between. That's a transition. We'll go over those in just a little bit. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you a little bit about how to add photos to your project, because sometimes you want to add in some still images as well. Now, not everyone here may be familiar, but there's this filmmaker by the name of Ken Burns, and Ken Burns sort of coined this type of shot. He didn't invent it, but it became known as the Ken Burns effect. We've actually done a few classes on the Ken Burns effect in the past. And it has to do with using photos, and basically you have this still image and you slowly zoom in or you zoom out or you pan across the image, and it just gives it a little bit more life to it. So our regular members are probably aware of this. I have an aerial drone that I use as a hobby. I photograph Cape Cod from the sky, and so I thought I'd just use a couple of my little shots here. So, for example, let's use this one right here of the Pilgrim Monument. All you do is you tap on the photo, and it'll just bring it right into your shot. Okay, we can do, let's do another one here. And what you'll notice is that these shots are all the same length, okay? And I want to show you how to edit them and how to move across the photo so you can really determine how the camera navigates around this image. We'll go over that in just a minute. But what I wanted to point out for starters is that if you want to bring in a photo, literally all you have to do is tap on the image. If you don't see the photo that you want, make sure you plug your iPad into your Mac, and that way you can sync the albums that contain those photos. That's how you bring them into your iPad. Also, you'll notice up here at the top right we have audio. Okay, I gave a little tip during the last live class that a lot of people seem to enjoy. One of the things I've learned from producing content for YouTube, right now our members watch about 7 million minutes of our classes every single month. One of the things I learned the hard way is that if you use copywritten music and you put your video on YouTube, YouTube tends, with most artists, they will censor your video and it will not be able to be played on an iPhone, an iPad, and some Android devices. So, that being said, if you're going to create some sort of a piece that you're wanting to put out on YouTube, I'm going to give you two little pieces of advice. They do give you some copyright-free music right here within iMovie. Okay, you'll see it up here where it says theme music. They also have sound effects. All of the sound effects are also copyright-free. If you are looking for additional music, there is a site that I use all the time now when I'm producing my drone videos so that they don't get censored, and it's called audiojungle.net. I'll put a little link in the description of the video so that it's there. And I'm 90% sure it's audiojungle.net and not .com. But maybe if there's a member who's here in the live class, if they want to check on that, I believe it is .net. But you can buy copyright-free music that's really, really high quality for a low price. That is, if you know what copyright-free music tends to go for. So when you want to add your music in, you can tap on audio here. And let's just go into theme music for now. And so you'll see here that they're all different lengths. For the theme music, most of these are right around a minute long. So let's just tap on a couple and see if we find one that kind of works. And when you tap on the song, by the way, you'll see here that we have, again, a play button to preview and another to actually bring it into your project. So let's hit play and see how this sounds. No. Let's try playful. Perfect. So we're going to hit that little arrow pointed down, and boom, it's dropped into our project. One feature I'm going to point out now, I was going to go over this later, but I might as well mention it now, is you'll see here we can actually see the audio waveform. And that's really helpful, I find, when it comes to timing your shots. So if you really want your shot to change at the beat of the music, which if you've ever seen my drone videos, that's one of the techniques I use to really get the adrenaline flowing, is when there's a beat, boom, you cut. So with this, it's not going to be quite that dramatic, but then again, this isn't Lady Gaga. If you want to add this feature, you'll notice there's a little wave icon right here at the top right corner of your timeline. So just tap that, and that'll bring it in. If I tap it again, it goes away.